happy to be with y'all and almost spill my water. We have a really great and diverse group of panelists. I'm going to let them come on and join me up here. And yeah, bear with me because I am a last-minute sub. But I think this is going to be a really interesting conversation. We have people from diverse backgrounds, from academics, from beauty and SaaS, from community building. So I'm really going to let them take it away and get started with some bios, and then we'll dive into some topics related to well-being, mental health, forming connections, wherever it goes.
All right, yeah, I can start. Hey everybody, my name's Kaylee Lieffers. I'm the founder of Blanka. We are a Vancouver headquartered company. We are in the B2B space, so we help brands launch product lines in beauty and wellness. So we're a full tech-enabled, product-led platform, making it super easy for anybody to stand up a beauty or wellness brand in under 5 minutes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mirjana Prpa. I'm an assistant professor at Northeastern University, and I come from research and design of virtual and immersive environments.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. First of all, I got to say I'm honored to be surrounded by these powerful women. My name is Armando. I come from Croatia. For the past 7 years, I've been building SplitX, a global tech hub out of Croatia with a strong presence in Silicon Valley. So basically, I go back and forth on a constant basis.
Great. And you all heard about me. I think this panel will be interesting because a lot of the other panels that I've been listening to have been very positive, very like tech is bringing us in a great direction. And I think, of course, we should be optimistic, and tech is bringing us in a great direction, but it gets a bad rep. Tech can cause loneliness and isolation. It can, there's panic headlines all around. So I'll get us started with, how has tech, in your experience professionally or personally, created connections rather than divides? Or talk about how it has created divides.
I can start. And first, I want to kind of give a context. We haven't prepared for this panel. And to be honest, I don't even know what the questions are. So the answers might be all over the place and wild, but actually, this is planned in a way that we can have more natural, organic conversation on a panel rather than having pitches prepared 2 weeks ahead. So feel free to jump in and share your opinions as well. I think we can keep it fairly informal. Now, going back to the question, well, personally, we've seen a lot of divide in tech when it comes to, for example, gender or marginalized groups. What we do at Northeastern University, we created a program, for example, in computer science, that anyone without computer science background can actually fast-track into computer science master degree by creating a line program and saying, hey, all of you with these amazing, diverse perspectives are very welcome to be the future builders of technology that we are all going to be using. So that is one way how I see that building technology can bring different perspectives moving forward.
Yeah, that sounds really great. I went to Georgia Tech, which is obviously like a very computer science school, and they make everybody take computer science. And I studied marketing. I was like, I'm taking this because I have to take it. This is not my thing, but I'm 18 years old. What is my thing, you know? And I remember I actually did quite well in the course, and they were like, do you want to be a TA? And I was like, hell no, I don't want to be a TA. Like, I was just going through this, and like, I wish there was something like that was more like, no, you can like explore this more. Like, it doesn't have to be your thing. It doesn't have to be like your background or anything. So yeah, I really like that example, Mirjana.
I can speak to tech and how it can be a bit splitting and challenging. More on the fundraising side of things, I was really challenged because I'd met so many tech founders when I wanted to start a company, and so often there's this dialogue around friends and family. And just do a friends and family round. Just get some money from them to get off the ground. I always felt uncomfortable by that because I didn't come from a background that had a lot of wealth and didn't have money where I could just ask friends or family so easily. And so I always found that friends and family as a concept can be a bit challenging for founders, and I've steered away from that as a thought because that doesn't have to be the only way to raise capital as well. And there's a lot of other ways because not everybody has access to that. So that's one way that I think about it, and I've been thinking about it a lot lately.
Nice. And I know you raised around recently, so can you talk a little bit about other ways that you kind of navigated avoiding the family friends, which is a crazy expression. Like if you're outside of the business and you hear somebody talk about their family and friends round, like it seems odd, right? So what other ways did you tackle it with?
Well, we're in the Canada House, so obviously non-dilutive funding is amazing in our country. That's how we bootstrapped for 2 years, and I can very comfortably say we brought on over $600K in grant funding, and there's no question that was like one of the major reasons why we were able to get so far without bringing on investors. That's probably the biggest one.
That's awesome.
Well, talking about the what divides us and what unites us, in our example at SplitX, we are an ecosystem of companies powered by this really extraordinary community of frontier tech leaders, and we all work on this with these incredible technologies. But the one message that we send out to all these leaders is no matter how ambitious you are, no matter how hard you work, you got to stop and you got to be present. And we use that emotion to kind of unite, I'm pretty sure Dan would agree, to unite these leaders in our community over this common theme, you know. And at the same time, everyone's kind of striving for it, but we're missing the structure, right? Because we have to run around, right? You just fundraise the money. You got to run even faster, right? And that's a whole other subject, right? You know, a lot of founders think, you know, we fundraise the money. Oh, that's it, you know. No, that's when the game starts. The game's on. Yeah.
Usually you have to start funding again right after, right? Like as soon as you close the round, you're like thinking about your next
Always
round.
be fundraising.
Yeah. I think that's an interesting topic, Armando, like being present. I think being present in a world that's constantly telling us to not be present, like constantly telling us to use these tools, try this thing, be online, be posting, be running around, be building your business.
Because there's a big sense of urgency. There's a huge FOMO. I freaking hate it because
There's so much FOMO here at South by. There's like 3 million events going on.
Because
Which one should you be at?
They want you to believe that. But just rewind. I was talking to yesterday. I was talking to the guy and about some company, a big company from 2016, 2017. They were huge in Silicon Valley, and you would come to their office and they were like, "Oh, have you tried our product? Oh, it's a world-changing, game-changing." You know, fast forward to 2024. Where the fuck are they? You know what I'm saying?
So true.
So don't get fooled into thinking this is, you know, world-changing, detrimental for our lives. Maybe it is in a certain way, but think about the long-term game. It's your health. That's the name of the game, right? That's why we prioritize being present at the moment.
Yeah, and if I can add, I've been thinking since yesterday, so the title is Beyond the Screen. And I'm in a VR field, and the screen is strapped to your face. And I've been thinking, oh, okay, and then we have Meta with a headspace, right, promising this future of wellness with the screen strapped to your face. And yesterday in the XR exhibition, there is a piece, I'm going to announce it, it's called Shadow Time. And I totally recommend you go and experience it. It is a critique of not only VR itself or the way we see future applications of VR, but I think in general it is about the technology and how blindly we are following these next new shiny thing, losing perspective of why we are here in the first place, who are we building and what are we trying to achieve with the new technologies or with VR, right? So, yeah. So totally recommend. I think that they will be there for next 3 days, Shadow Time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like we're all privileged to be educated and work in the tech space, so we understand like, oh, Meta's just hawking this product, of course, they're going to say it's good for you. They're trying to sell them, or they're trying to get you to go to the experiences and see the ads. But I think like the average person, the average Canadian, American, global person doesn't know that. So if Meta says, oh, if you do our screened meditation where we show you images of stars and dolphins and I don't know what else, then you'll feel so much better. And everyone will be like, oh, okay, I'm going to spend an extra 45 minutes staring at my dolphins when actually maybe take a walk in the forest, or, I don't know, like, who knows? But yeah, I don't know.
And if sorry, Kate.
I was just gonna ask, have you guys, Case, like going so far to the extreme though, have any of you guys ever burned out? Have you ever experienced what that's like?
Honestly, no. No, but I mean, I've seen the people around me eating like a ramen, like 1 a.m. in the morning, drinking Red Bulls and stuff like that, and I'm like, what are you doing?
You don't realize you're doing it when it's happening. That was me, but it was chocolate almonds.
Yeah,
Like
that's a good
3
point.
months.
That's a good point. And then eventually you realize, oh shit, I got to start working on my health. So it's kind of trade-off. Making shit ton of money versus being healthy. So
it's like the airplane thing, right? Where you actually have to take care of yourself before you can take care of everybody else, and sometimes you have to learn it the hard way.
Well, when you think about it, look at the successful founders, for example. Look at the numbers. After the successful acquisition, whatever, who stopped? No one stopped. No one stopped because it's always more. So the real question is, can you be grateful for what you have, right? And then the business, the fundraising, everything else, it's gonna be a bonus.
But there we are talking about this mindfulness and intent. And I want to kind of go back to Abby, yours point, right, about like, so I called out Meta and Headspace, but I also built technologies, VR environments for health and well-being. But it's not about what we do in the moment, but how do we plan for the future interactions. And for example, the environments I built, it was you use it now when you need it, but they weren't built with this idea, and you need to keep using it to feel good about yourself or to change how you see yourself in the world or how you see others in the world. So it was always intervention and a tool rather than permanent crutch that you have to rely on. And I think it's about that intent of how you set your business, how you set your life, how you build the technology for others.
Yeah, no. So my advice for that thing is, from my perspective, I look at my business as my life calling, right? So it's been 6-7 years already, and my goal is to run SplitX, until I die. I want it to outlive me. That may not happen, but I don't. In the end, I don't care. That's my intent right now. And that's how I approach it. But I don't want to. I'm not going to burn out. I'm not going to sacrifice my health. I'm not going to. I'm going to do what it's needed. But I'm not going to go overboard with, whatever the bullshit they're selling you on. But like I said, that's my perspective. Might work for everyone.
That just made me think of something where you're talking about the founder journey. So often the founder journey is, you want to build something because you're excited about the problem, but usually if you're a founder, you want to see an exit or there's a passion play. And so it's not just about the journey of building, but the aftermath. And there's a really interesting Reddit thread by the founder of Movement Watches. It was a really popular D2C brand like 5-7 years ago, and they sold for, I think, around 80 mil. And he publicly posted in Reddit his name, and he's like, I exited, and now I'm so lonely, I'm depressed, I don't know what to do. And this guy has all the money in the world. And so often there's also like that concept of like what comes next after. And so you want to keep building SplitX for forever, but it's just interesting that somebody's speaking about, that mental health issue post, because you don't have that like core vision and that one thing that wakes you up in the morning. And I think that's a really interesting dialogue too.
Yeah, that's wild. That's a great example. And you said that was a couple years ago, and I want to pose a question to you all is just, do you think it's getting better? Do you think it's getting worse?
Like it being?
It being, I guess, a little bit of like finding balance, being intentional, kind of the topics you've been touching on.
That's a great question, because we were talking about this earlier. I feel like with the social media and this ego-driven algorithm, it's kind of making all of us, or giving us this opportunity to become this godlike features where it's all about us, right? So I'm kind of fed up with that. Honestly, if I could, I would just delete everything, which is kind of hypocritical of me because, you know, I still work in tech and I'm a community builder, you know, and I engage with people every single day. And, you know, there's a lot of things that we do as an ecosystem of companies and so on and so on. But basically, as an optimist, I feel like it's getting better. You know, people are finding their communities. You know, we're kind of resorting to our own bubbles, and then, you know, we're functioning within a bubble. So at the same time, it's getting better. I feel like we're going full circle. You know.
Yeah, I agree. It's getting better, but probably not for the reasons you would think. I think we all got really saturated and exhausted by all the screens during the pandemic and all the changes that happened with it in the workplaces and in our private lives. I had a moments where after a full day in Zoom meetings, I just close my laptop. I cannot watch a movie. I cannot look at any other screen anymore. And I think that brought awareness in me. And I also see in younger generations that they're really refusing to use technology and staying away from it, which is a very interesting phenomenon, right? Because we are tech enthusiasts, we are in tech, but then we see these younger people who are actually changing and redefining what that might look like for them.
That's great, Mirjana. Ooh,
I think just like one final piece on that is that we went through a wave of, you know, mindfulness and work-life balance, but I think the next piece that we're already seeing is like commercialization of well-being.
Yeah, exactly. And like,
Great point.
yeah, like when does that go bad, you know?
Oh, I can tell you when that goes bad.
Do it.
That goes bad when mental health crisis becomes your personal problem, right? When we call out people for not being mindful or not exercising or doing meditation enough, and we don't ask the questions, where's the root of the problem? Are you working crazy hours? Are you sleeping? Are you having time for your kids and your personal life? And as long as we are blaming the individuals, I think we will have that commercialization and these gurus in these big companies trying to teach mindfulness and to people who are probably overworked and missing on other aspects of their lives to actually be happy and healthy.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Mirjana. And I think like blaming the person rather than questioning the system, like you were speaking about this ego-driven system, like, okay, if we see like an influencer being so full of themselves and we want to roll our eyes, but they're just doing marketing in a world where that's what marketing is. So should we make fun of them, or should we like question how do you get someone's attention in this modern world, basically?
I went through the process of trying to find a business coach going into 2024, and my lens on a business coach was, for me, it was somebody to hold me accountable and help me think bigger picture, kind of take it out of groupthink with my co-founders. But through the process of essentially interviewing business coaches, I realized there was this spectrum of coaches, and there's this one extreme where it's like, I'm purely strategy, I'm helping you scale your business. And then there's this other extreme where they call themselves a business coach, but it's just they were a therapist. And then there's the people who are like, no, I have my business coach and my therapist. So I think it's just interesting, that spectrum, and like whether you're a founder or you're just in the tech ecosystem, like trying to find those people that fit those voids wherever they might be. And like, I haven't figured that out yet, and I haven't hired my business coach yet, so I'm looking.
Well, you know, if the business coach is, I mean, he has to be at least, he or she has to be at least, you know, 50 years old, you know, you know, you want to get that experience, right? I mean, in my case, I do have, you made me think about it. I do have business coaches in a sense, which are basically just some of my friends who are, you know, older guys, you know, in their 60s, and you know, I just learn from them, basically.
Or mentors.
Or mentors, yeah. Exactly.
Do you pay them? That's a big question.
Excellent. We have about 5 minutes left. If anybody has a question, Would love to take some questions. Oh yeah, I see you in the back there. I don't know if we have a floating mic, so I'm gonna run. Okay, I can repeat it. Elaborate. So the question was for Armando, and he said things are getting better in the digital age. Can you expand upon that? Get it right? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, so I live in two worlds. Back home in Croatia, I'm at the beach. It's this Mediterranean lifestyle. It's relaxing, lots of wine, coffee, and so on. And then 4 to 5 months a year, I'm in a madness of Silicon Valley, right? But what I do, I take the bubble, more like a mindset that I have from home, and I apply it to Silicon Valley, to the place where I'm there. And within this bubble, I'm trying to draw in as more people as I can. And I can see that it's getting better. I can see people, being aware of their health priorities, being aware of how does my health goes with my business. How do I excel at business while keeping my health? So, from my perspective, I can tell that it's, at least in my bubbles, that it's getting better.
And you talk about bubbles, but I think we're becoming an increasingly global world. We're getting exposed to different lifestyles. Like, I've never been to Croatia, but I can imagine what it might be like. And I've traveled to the Mediterranean, and even like today's Vancouver takeover. I'm not from Vancouver. Like, I think the style of working in Vancouver is different than where I'm from, than in Silicon Valley, than in the Mediterranean.
Well, actually, Croatia is a little perfect piece of Mediterranean.
I'd love to go.
Not biased at all.
No.
I think we have some other questions. We'll take one more.
Hi, how are you? My name is Alicia. I have a question. I'm a registered nurse, actually.
Ooh.
What are your personal wellness strategies as tech innovators and in the healthcare or tech space?
Thanks, Alicia. I'll let you guys go first.
Yeah. So for me as an individual, I have a non-negotiable around working out. I spoke about burnout because I experienced it, and I almost experienced it twice, and it meant I had to take 3 months off of work. And so I work out at least 5 times a week, and I eat super healthy. Like, I'm on a mainly vegetarian, plant-based diet, and those things can keep me like mentally very clear. I've also started building in more of like a journaling and meditation practice, which I didn't think that it would make a big difference for me, and it's made a huge difference for me. Specifically, like, I do a lot of gratitude journaling, and also like manifesting. I do a lot of that stuff, so it sounds like a bit woo-woo, but for me, it just takes me out of like my day-to-day and really helps me also set perspective on like, being present and being grateful for where I'm at now.
You follow Huberman?
Yeah, of course.
Well, yeah, I mean, healthy lifestyle, exercising. But for me, one of the big things that was happening is you wake up, and in my previous position, when I worked with industry, I start at 7 a.m. That means like I wake up at 6:55 and I roll from the bed to my desk, and I already have this anxiety attack of like, okay, my day is starting. And what I started doing is waking up 10 minutes early instead of 5, and also asking, okay, what is important? What is important today? What is important in my life? What do I want to accomplish today? One thing. And that's not my wisdom. That was shared, someone else smarter than me shared it, and I picked it up somewhere. Asking yourself, what is it that I'm doing today? What is it that I want to accomplish? And how is that feeding into where I want to be tomorrow, or in a year, or in 5 years? And that also helped me prioritize what I say yes and what I say no to. And it really, really helped my mental health, because it can be overstimulating, can be a lot, right? All of these tasks and needs, and really asking, why am I doing things that I'm doing, and what is that one that I want to have done today?
Yeah, I love that. I love there's such a duality between what am I going to say yes to, so kind of saying no, and then being an open person and saying yes to opportunity. I was listening to a panel a couple days ago, and somebody asked their advice, and one woman literally said, I've learned to say no, and one woman literally said, this year I've said yes to every opportunity. And I was like, shit, what are we supposed to do?
Well, Thank you for your question. Both my mother and my sister are nurses as well. Huge respect for that industry. I work out every day. It sounds like a cliche, but at least 30 minutes every single day. Consistency is the key. You got to do something, and I'm always on the move. And I don't look at the phone for the first hour and a half when I get up. I don't think about the work. I don't give a damn. I drink coffee. I do nothing. And then between 12 and 2 o'clock, I have it scheduled in my calendar, like a daily repeatable event. I'm at the beach. So when I'm at home, I'm at the beach. There's this game that we play in a shallow beach. I drink coffee. I play this game, and then I go back to the office. So it's kind of like it's a structured way of prioritizing your health, right? And I don't have any FOMO. I used to have FOMO. I don't have it anymore. I don't give a damn. I play it by my own rules, respecting others and everything. But I'm setting my own rules, my own tempo, and every single day you do something. So it's about being consistent.
Great. I hope you all have enjoyed this discussion as much as we have. I think it's been really fun. If you have any other questions, sorry, I know we didn't get to you, but we have to wrap up. We'll be around, so chat with us, and thank you so much.
Thank you.